dynamics of a bygone era. None of this is normal. And it's important to remember at moments like this, the greatest tragedy is not, as King said, the clamor of bad people, but it's the appalling silence of so many good people. Not normal. But in California, we're not silent. You're not silent. You're not hunkering down. We're not retreating. We're a beacon. The state is providing a different narrative, an operational model, a policy blueprint for others to follow. This state, this people, this experiment in democracy belongs not to the past, but it belongs to the future. Expanding civil rights for all, opening doors for more people to pursue their dreams, dreams that are not exclusive, not to any one race, not to any one religion or class, standing up for traditional virtues, compassion, courage, and a commitment to something larger than our own self-interest, and asserting that no one, particularly the President of the United States, stands above the law. We've gone to court. We've gone to court. We've gone to court to protect our people, pushing back against this executive overreach. 52 lawsuits have been filed, funded by you, by the way, in the special session that all of you led. And as a consequence, point of pride for our Attorney General, as a consequence, we preserved about $168 billion in illegally frozen federal resources that belong to our schools, that belong to our hospitals, that belong to our seniors, resources that belong to all the people of this great state. We have one request for emergency relief, and we have affirmed the Constitution of the United States as the supreme law of the land. I say this with respect, but mindful. But Mr. President, you can't cut off critical food assistance for millions of people. You can't send the military into American cities without justification. And you cannot cruelly and illegally cut off funding for medical research, homeland security, or disaster response. That is wrong. That is wrong. And you have all stood up. You have all stood up. Our Attorney General has stood up. Our Speaker has stood up. Our Pro Tem has stood up. All of you, on behalf of all people in our state. Proud of that. You should be proud of that. Well, I'm not naive. If we're going to keep the faith for the California spirit, we got to do more than just resist what is wrong. We got to keep building what's right. We're not defined, we all know this, we're not defined by what we're against, we're defined by what we're for, opportunity and dignity, derangement syndrome. Look at this state to tear down, try to attack all our progress, but we know the truth. California's success is not by chance, it's by design. We've created the conditions where dreamers and doers and misfits and marvels with grit and ingenuity come to build the impossible. We became a destination for the world's first-round draft choices, the best and the brightest who come here from all over the world for riches and new beginnings. And I'm not just talking about the tech CEOs and the founders in Silicon Valley or the producers and writers in Hollywood. I'm talking about the mechanics in Modesto, the farm workers in Salinas, and the police officers in El Centro. That's what we do, first-round draft choices. No state. Simply no state in America that contributes more, none, to the American greatness. No state builds more ladders to success or sees around more corners. The biggest manufacturing economy constructed here. The most productive agricultural economy grown here. 18%. 18% of the world's R&D invested right here in California. 1/2 of America's unicorn companies, those companies valued over $1 billion, 1/2 are in the great state of California. And get this, the happiest cities, right here in California, you know who you are. Fremont, San Jose, Irvine, San Francisco, and San Diego, consistently the most happiest places on earth. In your state, I think that matters. And it's interesting, isn't it? Those cities, they have so much in common, don't they? And that's proximity. The one thing they all have in common is proximity to the greatest research institutions in the world, the greatest system of public higher education anywhere in the world, this conveyor belt for talent. A proof point, you all know this, but I want to remind everybody, a proof point, just last year, the UCs, they added an additional 5 Nobel laureates to its roster, 1 out of every 3 laureates here in California. Come on. It's almost too much. I was reading this. I don't see this on some of the cable networks. 13,700 active patents in the UC system alone. That's more than any other system on the globe. We simply have no peers. And this, again, I said it earlier, it's not by chance, it's by design. You've nurtured these steps, big and small. They've emanated from these chambers. You have kept the state stable. You've kept it reliable because you've invested in the California dream. Just last year, building that framework, we worked together to unveil the first concrete economic development blueprint in California's history. It wasn't top down, it's bottom up. It's region by region. Some 10,000 people, remarkable number, participated in the development of this plan. We call it Jobs First. 13 economic and workforce development plans aligned to the universities, aligned to our trade schools. It's a plan that reconciles the macroeconomic story of the world's 4th largest economy, $4+ trillion a year, with the microeconomic reality of 40 million people living here. It's an economic plan that's nourishing. It's an economic plan that's family supporting. For the Central San Joaquin, that means jobs in manufacturing and clean energy, and of course, agriculture. For the Redwood region, it's jobs in tourism and health and forestry and fisheries. For San Diego and Imperial counties, new jobs in high tech, biotech, advanced manufacturing and hospitality. For the Central Coast, new jobs in aerospace, defense, semiconductors, quantum, and ag tech. We're doing all of this in conjunction, by the way, with our wildly successful CalCompetes tax credit program that's helping businesses hire more Californians, expanding innovation all across our state. Proof points, aerospace engineering in Torrance, beneficial, hydrogen fuel cell manufacturing in Lancaster, fusion R&D in San Leandro. And in Kern County, this is interesting, in Kern County, Mojave, it's the first steel mill built in California in half a century. That's interesting. By the way, and I'm going to get to the budget in a second, but this is a little bit of a preview. By the way, I'll be requesting all of you, with your indulgence in tomorrow's budget, that we reauthorize. I'll be asking that you reauthorize our tax credit program for an additional 5 years. It is working. You know what else is working? Speaking of tax credits, ever since that first moving image was taken of a horse, some of you may recall this, a horse named Sally in Palo Alto, to the early silent film studios in Fremont in Los Angeles, Hollywood has been one of California's, been perhaps the most California of industries. And that's why we're proud we worked together last year to double down on our film and tax credit programs. To not only keep our iconic industry here, but all the unionized camera operators, stunt performers, wardrobe, and set designers. It's a point of pride, and that program is working and producing real results because of your leadership. But as we support our proud past, we also need to make investments in our economic future. We're defining the next decade and beyond through robotics and fusion and space and quantum and artificial intelligence. And speaking of which, I understand it goes without saying that no technology holds more promise, also and more peril to jobs, our economy, to our way of life than artificial intelligence. Bottom line is the tech genie's out of the bottle. The question is not whether change is happening. It is. The question is, what values will guide us into this new frontier? And that's a question you're answering, that we are answering. Last year, we worked together on landmark legislation to create the nation's first rules for responsible, ethical, and safe use of AI. Regulations that provide guardrails that balance risk and opportunity. This was a consensus effort and a template for the nation where you may have just seen, just recently, New York State adopted our approach, your approach here in California, and made it their own. That's California leadership. We're leading the way in this space. It's how we're shaping the future. And it's a unique combination, isn't it, of conscience and capital. Entrepreneurial and innovative
All right. Welcome in, everyone. My name is Angelina Tucci, and we are live covering Gavin Newsom's State of the State. Welcome in, DV8. It's good to see you. Welcome in, Marcella Tucci. It's good to see you. Anyone else in chat, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you think of Gavin Newsom. We'll be covering him for the foreseeable time. But as of now, let's go ahead and restart this broadcast so we can do a little live react. And oh shit, yeah, we need to see everyone who is there. We'll do it at like double speed though. So welcome in, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I sure am. It's going to be a great, what is it, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, January 8th.
Mr. Speaker.
Let's go. Okay. Oh man, I see some familiar faces there already. I forget what this guy's name is back there, but he has a weird ass ponytail. Here, let's. Nope, they still got busted. No audio. Okay.
Utilities and you are recognized for your procedural motion. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 118A to allow Speaker Rivas to have guests on the floor, at the rostrum, and at the rear of the chamber today. Without objection, such shall be the order. Pursuant to Assembly Rule 96, I request unanimous consent to re-refer AB 277, Alanis, from the Human Services Committee to the Public Safety Committee and then back to the Human Services Committee. Without objection, such shall be the order. Pursuant to Assembly Rule 97, I move to re-refer File 81, AB 710 Irwin, to the Utilities and Energy Commission. Without objection, such shall be the order. And I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 56 to allow the following committees to notice bills pending for re-referral. Housing and Community Development Committee to notice AB 739 Jackson.
Oh yes, thank you, Marcella. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more California news. This is going to be your #1 spot for accurate political analysis by someone, a real live person. I ain't no AI bot. I ain't bought by nobody.
January 13th, pending re-referral from the Public Safety Committee. Human Services Committee to notice AB 673 Jackson for their hearing on Tuesday, January 13th, pending re-referral from the Education.
Members and senators should retire.
Okay, let's see the little intro for him. You are AI? I know. The only AI is the A and the I in my name. Sub or
we will now convene the joint convention.
Stonehead.
Everyone, please take your seats.
I mean Easter Island head. Okay.
Members and guests, the governor has arrived in the chamber. I'm appointing a joint committee to escort the governor to the rostrum. The following assembly members and senators should retire to the rear of the chamber. Assembly members Alawari, Flora, Gibson, Irwin, Quirk Silva, Stephanie, and Solache.
He's so tall, so handsome. Look at that hair. Perfection. I'm pretty sure Newsom voted a bill that would give all Californians Medicare for all. Hell yeah. We need to look into that. If you have any info, drop it in chat. We could look at it together. Oh man, this is Gavin's own live stream and the audio's busted. Okay. All these people. Oh, we got the sign ASL interpreter. Okay, they just turned off the mic.
Please join me in welcoming the constitutional officers of California, Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis,
Whoa.
Secretary of State Shirley Weber,
Hell yeah. I remember when
Treasurer Fiona Ma,
I remember when Newsom did his daily state of California during COVID. It was a big deal. It was like FDR fireside chats.
Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Oh,
Tony
sorry. He vetoed a bill. Oh, no. Gavin, why?
Thurman, State Controller Malia Cohen. And with us today from the Board of Equalization from District 2, South.
Oh, man, we had a lot of people speak before he did.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So then we didn't get in too late at the...
all of us together. My Senate colleagues and I have the honor to be here in the Assembly chambers to hear our governor's vision for his last year leading
Yep, his last year before he becomes president of the United
the Assembly
States.
and our governor to advance the lives of almost 40 million Californians who call this great state home. And now, as the 50th President Pro Tempore of the California State Senate, it's my honor to introduce the first woman elected to serve as Lieutenant Governor, the Honorable Eleni Kounalakis. As a former U.S. ambassador, her leadership is rooted in diplomacy and collegiality, something these challenging times call for. And here, in her role as Lieutenant Governor, she has shaped to ensure that Californians have greater access to housing, education, and healthcare, priorities that my Senate colleagues and I share. Please help me in welcoming the 50th Lieutenant Governor for the state of California,
All right,
Eleni Kounalakis.
Okay, Lieutenant Governor's going to give her introduction. Do you know, DV8 said, do you know who you want as our next governor? I don't know yet.
And all the guests
Out of all
with
the
us
people
today.
running
7 years
so
ago,
far,
I stood in this chamber to
I
introduce
think
Governor Gavin Newsom for his work
Javier
for state
Becerra
policy.
is my best choice right now.
None of us
But
would
I
imagine
could tell you
the
who
scale
I
of the
don't want as
challenges
governor.
or how
Antonio
dramatically we
Villaraigosa.
test
I do
California
not want
and our
Antonio
system.
Villaraigosa as our
As we now
governor.
enter the final year of the Newsom administration, we do so having navigated a global pandemic, historic economic disruption, relentless climate emergencies, and moments of profound national division, often while standing firm in the face of a hostile, unpredictable, and at times deeply cruel federal government.
That's right.
Throughout these tests, California chose action over hand-wringing and solutions over cynicism. We protected workers and small businesses in the depths of crisis. We rebuilt our economy much faster than expected, and we made historic investments in education, housing, healthcare, and climate action. At a time when people across the country and around the world are questioning whether democratic institutions can still solve big problems, California's experience offers a clear answer. This morning's State of the State is not just a preview of the year ahead. It is a reaffirmation of what effective, accountable government can achieve, especially when it is led by a governor who measures leadership by impact, who believes deeply in the promise of California, and who has never backed down from the responsibility of governing in difficult times.
Well, that's true. He's never backed down.
Governor, I'd like to also take this opportunity to thank you for the partnership you created between us and our offices. It is a rare accomplishment. And I am especially grateful for the trust you placed in me to serve as your representative for international affairs and trade.
I'm
As a
surprised
former
she's
United
not running
States
for
ambassador,
governor.
and as the members of the Consular Corps here can attest, California's role on the global stage has never mattered more. The world is quite literally watching. Ladies and gentlemen, the 40th governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom.
No, Marcelo, what did you say? Homie might be president with the endorsement of that one TikTok guy who smashes his face in. I don't know who that is.
Thank you.
Yeah, they had to get a whole nother translator for Gavin Newsom? Why?
Thank you, Madam Lieutenant Governor. The Speaker, I'll pick up on your remarks to the person who should be given the State of the State based on your reaction, our new Senate Pro Tem. My gosh. What is that? Clearly still in your honeymoon phase. You're going to enjoy it.
Wow.
I'm just saying. By the way, I was looking for some response from some of the folks over here on the right. When the Speaker said this is his last State of the State, I was assuming DeMaio would look up and maybe applaud or something.
Wow.
So
Look at
hopefully
him
a
making
few of them are
jokes
shaking
here.
their heads.
Let's
They're
slow it
looking
down
forward
to 1 point.
The sad thing for you, you're going to have to endure
2.5.
about 45 to 50 minutes of this. And I say endure because we're all in this together, including myself.
He said
The
we're
reason I've
all
been
in
back
this
here in a few
together,
years is,
like
as you know, I
it's
have
the
no problem speaking.
Wildcats and
perhaps,
High School Musical.
Sometimes a little more long-windedly than people like. But when it comes to the written text, that has never served me well. I did a little children's book a few years back that sort of exposed the truth, the ugly truth about my challenges with reading. I'm
Hold on.
not shy or embarrassed about my 960 SAT score, but I am a little bit about my inability to read the written text. And so it's always been something
It's
that I have to
called
work through.
Ben and Emma's
and
Big
I'm
Hit, written
confronted.
by
And so I
Gavin
say that
Newsom with
grace.
Ruby Shamir.
I say that with the
Interesting.
humility that's at hand today. And I also say that in the spirit, as I said, of what the speaker was saying. For some of you, it may have been a little jarring, what he said. For others, it was more than appropriate. It's the stress that many of us are feeling, the stacking of stress.
So much stress.
And that journey that Lieutenant Governor was talking about over the
much
last 7 years. And
stress.
I don't think we've given ourselves the kind of grace that we deserve. We never had time to really reflect on everything we've been together. Last time I talked here was 2020. And all of a sudden,
way.
everything was virtual. And we came right out of that, and social unrest, supply chains, inflation, all this stacking of stress. And
All
so
of that.
I'll try to reflect some of that in my comments today. I'll say things that may be piercing to some of you,
All right.
but it's not intended to demean. It's not intended to divide. But I'm speaking from my heart. I'm saying what I think. Again, with the grace and humility to know that I am constantly a work in progress. I'm learning on this job, 7+ years in. Learning
7+
every single
years,
day,
still a work in
and
progress,
proud,
wants to be a
closing,
president.
jump
No,
into
I
the
want
speech
someone
of all of
competent,
you,
homie. I want someone.
and all that
I'm
I've
just
learned
kidding.
from each and every one of you, each and every one of you, regardless of your politics, regardless of your faith, regardless of where you live and who you voted for. I just want to express
That's right.
gratitude.
Regardless
Every
of
single
where we
person in
live,
this
who
chamber,
we voted for,
every single
it
person that
doesn't matter.
shaped
Gavin Newsom's here for
who
all of
we
us.
are today and what the state represents, not just today, but tomorrow. But first, I appreciate it. Speaking of shaping things, I've been thinking a lot about, your final speech. Think about your life. Think about your journey. Think about the things that shaped you. And I'll begin a little bit with that, about
All right.
having spent nearly my entire life, now almost 6 decades, along the
Yeah.
rivers of this remarkable state, from my youthful days on the upper American River with my dad to my time with my own children downriver, not too far
What
from
rivers,
here.
brother?
Those rivers
What
that have shaped the
rivers?
story, not only my life, but shaped the story of California, a sense of place. From native people shaped by these rivers to men who extracted riches from their silt. The shout of Eureka, Eureka, when the madness began. Fortunes were made, fortunes were lost, time over and over again. Farmers who worked the soils nourished by those rivers, settlements that turned into towns that turned into thriving American port cities.
Yeah, we have
Industries
water.
in our state flourished.
I
Through 2
had
world
no
wars,
idea we had
the
water.
Great Depression and social upheaval, booms and busts, California endured. California thrived. And the rivers, they kept flowing. For 175 years, California has been a marvel of invention and reinvention, disaster
Amen to that.
and recovery,
California,
grit
best state in
and
the
ingenuity.
union.
We've found ways to build the future over and over. But today, that spirit is being tested. We face an assault on our values unlike anything I've seen in my lifetime. The federal government, respectfully, it's unrecognizable, protecting the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable. Their credo seems to be about fear of the future, fear of the stranger, fear of change. In Washington, the president believes that might makes right, that the courts are simply speed bumps, not stop signs, that democracy is a nuisance to be circumvented, secret police, businesses being raided, windows smashed, citizens detained, citizens shot.
Citizens
Mass
detained,
men snatching
citizens
people
shot.
in
He
broad
said,
daylight. People
yes, that's
disappearing.
what's happening.
Using American
Trump is
cities
doing it.
as training grounds for the United States military. Purposeful chaos
Yeah, what the
emanating
frick?
from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Shifting the tax burden from the wealthy, from billionaires to small businesses, ranchers, farmers, and the middle class, lining the pockets of the rich. Crony capitalism
Crony
at
capitalism.
unimaginable scale. State capitalism, self-dealing, profit-making, not policy-making. Rolling back rights marginalized communities, rewriting history, censoring historical facts. Their politics, some politics of some twisted nostalgia about restoring the dynamics of a bygone era.
He
None of this
said,
is normal.
"Make America
And
great
it's
again." Is
important to
twisted
remember at
nostalgia.
moments like this, the greatest tragedy is not, as King said, the clamor of bad people, but it's the appalling silence of so many good people. Not normal.
Not normal.
But in California, we're not silent. You're not silent. You're not hunkering down. We're not retreating. We're a beacon. The state is providing a different narrative, an operational model, a policy blueprint for others to follow. This state, this people, this experiment in democracy belongs not to the past, but it belongs to the future. Expanding civil rights for all, opening doors for more people to pursue their dreams, dreams that are not exclusive, not to any one race, not to any one religion or class, standing up for traditional virtues, compassion, courage, and a commitment to something larger than our own self-interest, and asserting that no one, particularly the President of the United States, stands above the law. We've gone to court. We've gone to court. We've gone to court to protect our people, pushing back against this executive overreach. 52 lawsuits have been filed, funded by you, by the way, in the special session that all of you led. And as a consequence, point of pride for our Attorney General, as a consequence, we preserved about $168 billion in illegally frozen federal resources that belong to our schools, that belong to our hospitals, that belong to our seniors, resources that belong to all the people of this great state. We have one request for emergency relief, and we have affirmed the Constitution of the United States as the supreme law of the land.
There we go. Oh, we got bad zoom up. I'm so sorry.
I say this with respect, but mindful. But Mr. President, you can't cut off critical food assistance for millions of people. You can't send the military into American cities without justification. And you cannot cruelly and illegally cut off funding for medical research, homeland security, or disaster response. That is wrong. That is wrong. And you have all stood up. You have all stood up. Our Attorney General has stood up. Our Speaker has stood up. Our Pro Tem has stood up. All of you, on behalf of all people in our state. Proud of that. You should be proud of that.
Stop it, Stardust. Terrible.
I'm not naive.
Absolutely terrible.
We're going to keep the faith of the California spirit. We got to do more than just resist what is wrong. We got to keep building what's right. We're not defined. We all know this. We're not defined by what we're against. We're defined by what we're for. Opportunity.
That's right.
Derangement syndrome. Look at this state to tear down, try to tack all our progress. But we know the truth. California's success is not by chance. It's by design. We've created the conditions where dreamers and doers and misfits and marvels with grit and ingenuity come to build.
Holy crap, that's such a good.
We became a destination for the world's first-round draft choices, the best and the brightest, who come here from all over the world for riches and new beginnings. And I'm not just talking about the tech CEOs and the founders in Silicon Valley, and the producers,
that's what California's been
in
about.
Hollywood. I'm talking about the mechanics in Modesto, the farm workers in Salinas, and the police officers in El Centro.
Land of opportunity has always been California.
That's what we do. First-round draft choices. No state, simply no state in America that contributes more, none, to the American greatness. No state builds more ladders to success or sees around more corners. The biggest manufacturing economy constructed here. The most productive agricultural economy.
It's expensive because everyone wants to be here. Everyone wants to be a Californian.
18%.
Make California inexpensive for Californians again, please.
Right here in California. 1/2 of America's unicorn companies, those companies valued over $1 billion, 1/2 are in the great state of California. And get this, the happiest cities.
Happiest cities.
Right here in California.
But also the worst cities.
Fremont, San Jose, Irvine, San Francisco, and San Diego, consistently the most happiest places.
Wow, Irvine is
in your
happy?
state.
I mean, I
Not
guess.
that matters.
It's hella expensive there.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Those cities, they have so much in common, don't they? And that's proximity. The one thing they all have in common is proximity to the greatest research institutions in the world, the greatest system of public higher education anywhere in the world. This conveyor belt
higher education, go Yodis.
You all know this, but I want to remind everybody.
I fucking hate this
school. Proof point, just last year, the UCs, they added an additional 5 Nobel laureates to its roster. 1 out of every 3 laureates here in California.
Oh, he's talking about the UCs, not the Cal States. That's right, Cal States suck.
Almost too much. I was reading this. I don't see this on some of the cable networks. 13,000.
Bro, I am not living in Ohio.
Patents. In the UC system alone, that's more than any other system on the globe. We simply have no peers. And this, again, I said it earlier, it's not by chance, it's by design. You've nurtured these steps.
The greatest education system in the world.
From these chambers, you have kept the state stable. You've kept it reliable because you've invested in the California dream. Just last year, building that framework, We
Oh,
worked
yeah.
together
Hell yeah.
to unveil the
CalArts.
first
CalArts
concrete
is amazing.
Economic development blueprint in California's history. It wasn't top down, it's bottom up. It's region by region. Some 10,000
He did say F
people,
Cal States. He
remarkable
said,
number, participated
all
in the
my
development of
homies
this plan.
hate
We
Cal
call it
States.
Jobs First.
It's all my
13
homies go to
economic
UCs.
and workforce development plans aligned to the universities, aligned to our trade schools. It's a plan that reconciles the macroeconomic story of the world's fourth largest economy, $4+ trillion a year, with the microeconomic reality of 40 million people living here. It's an economic plan that's nourishing. It's an economic plan that's family supporting. For the Central San Joaquin, that means jobs in manufacturing and clean energy, and of course, agriculture. For the Redwood region, it's jobs in tourism and health and forestry and fisheries. For San Diego and Imperial counties, new jobs in high-tech, biotech, advanced manufacturing, and
All right, let's
hospitality.
go.
For the
Let's
Central
go.
Coast, new jobs in aerospace, defense, semiconductors,
No more
quantum,
defense
and ag
industry
tech.
jobs.
We're doing all of this in conjunction, by the way, with our wildly successful Cal Competes tax credit program that's helping businesses hire more Californians, expanding innovation all across our state. Proof points, aerospace engineering in Torrance, beneficial.
Yep. SpaceX.
Hydrogen fuel cell
SpaceX.
manufacturing in Lancaster. Fusion R&D in San Leandro. And in Kern County, the first, this is interesting, in Kern County, it's the first steel mill built in California in half a century.
That's crazy.
That's interesting.
We have no
By the way,
steel has
and
been
I'm gonna get to the
processed
budget
here in
a
America.
second.
That's
This is
crazy.
a little bit of a preview. By the way, I'll be requesting all of you, with your indulgence in tomorrow's budget, that we reauthorize. I'll be asking that you reauthorize our tax credit program for an additional 5 years. It is working. You know what else is working? You know what else is working? Speaking of tax credits, ever since that first moving image was taken of a horse, some of you may recall,
Oh my
it's a horse named
gosh.
Sally in Palo Alto, to the early silent film studios in Fremont in Los Angeles, Hollywood has been one of California's, well, been perhaps the most California of industries.
Yeah,
And that's why I'm
Hollywood.
proud we
Hollywood
worked
has
together last
made
year to
California.
double down on our film and tax credit programs. Not only keep our iconic industry here, but all the unionized camera operators, stunt performers, wardrobe,
right.
and set
SAG-AFTRA.
designers. It's a point of pride, and that program is working and producing real results because of your leadership.
He said pony. Oh my God, I'm going to pull up that old video.
But as we support our proud past, we also need to make investments in our economic future. We're defining the next decade and beyond through robotics and fusion and space and quantum and artificial intelligence. And speaking of which, I understand it goes without saying that no technology holds more promise, also and more peril.
The
jobs, our
first
economy, our
silent
way of
film.
life than
One
artificial
of
intelligence.
California's
Bottom line
greatest
is we take genies
horses,
out of the
according to
bottle.
Gavin Newsom.
The question is not whether change is happening,
California
it is.
horse. The
The question
California
is,
film.
what values will guide us into this new frontier? And that's a question you're answering, that we are answering. Last year, we worked together on landmark legislation to create the nation's first rules for responsible, ethical, and safe use of AI. Regulations that provide
Yes,
guardrails
AI
that
regulations
balance risk
for
and opportunity.
sure.
This was a consensus effort and a template for the nation where you may have just seen, just recently, New York State adopted our approach, your approach here in California, and made it their own. That's California leadership. We're leading the way in this
DV8
space.
said just
That's how we're
change the
shaping
bear on the
future.
flag to that
It's a
horse.
unique
Yeah,
combination,
what did
isn't it,
that
of
grizzly bear
conscience
ever do for
and capital.
Californians?
Entrepreneurial and
That
innovative
horse is
spirit
more of a
that encourages
Californian than
risk-taking,
grizzly bears.
but discourages recklessness. Policy that creates predictability, so investors have confidence and innovators have space to dream and do. Compare that to this carnival of chaos on the national stage.
Carnival
All
of
these mini
chaos.
dramas
Gavin
that
Newsom
we have to
said,
deal
that's
with
not my
hour
circus,
by
that's not my
hour.
monkeys.
Vapid day trading with real world consequences. No more striking than that big, beautiful bill. I want to remind everybody what it means to all of us here in California. That big, beautiful bill is putting 1.8 million Californians at risk of losing their health insurance. 2 million
Yep.
facing premium increases. 2 million.
2 million in
poised to
premium
impact
increases.
Some 375,000 Californians. And for what? For what? All to benefit the top 10%
Yep.
of this country. People already own 2/3. Top 10%, 2/3 of the household wealth.
Come on, Gavin,
Plutarch.
go Bernie Sanders.
Brown quoted Cincinnati.
Say the
in his last speech.
0.01% are ruining this
The
country.
imbalance, said this almost about 2,000 years ago. He warned the Athenians. Imbalance, 2,000 years ago. The imbalance between the rich and the poor is the oldest and most fatal ailment
Yo.
of all republics.
Yo.
Think about that. 2,000 years ago. It's just not sustainable.
Yo.
It's not.
Gavin Newsom saying inequality
lessons of the
in
past.
Greece destroyed
California, all of us,
Greece.
you know,
And
we
now
marched the beat of a different
inequality
drum.
in
We've got one of the
America
most
is going to
progressive
destroy
tax systems
America.
in the nation.
Gavin
One that
Newsom is
asks
a woke
high
leftist.
income residents to pay a little bit more without punishing those that are making a little bit less. Think about this, and I hope folks over here think
We
about
all
this.
feel in the burn,
There are
DVA.
11
We
states in the
always
United
feel
States
in
of
the
America
burn.
that tax their middle wage earners more than the state of California. There are 16 states in the United States of America that tax their low wage earners more than California taxes its high wage earners. So the question to all of you, who are the high tax states?
Yeah.
Just consider Texas. Just consider Florida.
No
the
way.
two most regressive tax states in America. They're hammering.
I thought those were
low-income
states with no
earners.
taxes.
They're hammering them more than their wealthiest. Who are the high tax states? California stands for fairness. And by the way, it's not just in our tax
California
code,
has
our tax policy, in more ways
progressive
than one. And that's why I was
taxation.
proud. I was proud to work with all of you last year, proud to work with the legislature to raise the minimum wage for fast food workers in this state to $20 an hour.
Hell yeah, 20.
And also, that's a point of pride. And how about those healthcare workers? The
How
highest
about those
minimum wage in the
healthcare
United States
workers?
of America, working with you at $25 an hour.
$25 an hour, hell yeah.
But there's some of you probably thinking, oh, well, that's just too bad. We should be like Alabama, maybe South Carolina, maybe like Tennessee. 20 states now across this country that keep their minimum wage at $7.25.
Oh my God, boo.
Hasn't been raised in nearly 2 decades.
Illinois
the federal
included.
minimum wage. Try to pay rent, try to raise a family, try to pay for an education on $7.25 an hour.
Impossible. Impossible to raise a family on $7.25 an hour.
Do you stand for the rich and the powerful, the most well-connected? Or do you stand for bus drivers and janitors? Do you stand there with special education teachers?
California does not.
I mean,
America does not stand for bus drivers because we took out the number one world's bus driver, Nicolas Maduro.
It's reflected in our values. I mean it. We have to answer that question.
Damn, look at
Good news
the
is you're
whole
answering that
hall.
question. Point of pride.
Oh, there's Eloise Gomez Reyes right there. Oh my God, she
California
looks
way.
so sick. Sorry. She's just
I mentioned
barely
special
standing.
education. Let's talk about our educators. I'm proud to submit a budget, a little bit of budget speech.
Oh my God, yes, let's talk about our
I'm
educators.
proud to submit a budget tomorrow that has the most significant investments in California's education history. That's a fact. That's happening tomorrow. But this may interest some folks, what I'm about to say.
All right, let's hear it.
It will be a general fund budget of $248.3 billion.
Damn, that's
But
a
this
big
is-
general fund.
You may want to write this down.
Oh.
It includes revenues that are $42.3 billion higher than we forecasted.
Damn.
$42.3
Gavin
billion
Newsom said,
higher.
I'm the Bill Clinton, but better.
Why?
We giving you a
Because our economy's
surplus.
growing. Our population's growing.
Our
Why? Because of
population
the
is
energy
growing.
and daring of entrepreneurs that are growing and dominating in the industries of the future. As a result of that $42.3 billion windfall, by the way, did not even include the December numbers, which just came in.
Oh, so
Almost $3 billion
December
above.
numbers are always low,
Interesting
right?
fact. Mindful, as we should be, of the erratic nature of our state revenue and our long-term structural challenges that we will discuss in detail tomorrow in the budget presentation. We're going to rebuild our reserves, $7.3 billion. We're going to pay down long-term pensions, and those obligations, over $11.8 billion, will be met over the next few years, including $3 billion just in next year's budget.
Crazy.
Speaking of obligations, I want to broaden this. Some of the work that we've done together. It's the obligation that we have, no greater obligation than to our kids. And back to the issue of education. And that's
All
why
right.
tomorrow's budget includes a record-breaking $27,418 per student.
No
we have never
way.
had per pupil investment
No way.
as
Wait,
large
how
as
much
that in our
was
state's
that
history.
per student? $27,418 per student. That's how much money the state of California has allocated for them?
It's also a budget. We got to celebrate.
That's
our
more
wins.
than I make in a year, homie.
We forget about these things.
Students are
It's also
getting
a
more
budget
money
that fully
than
funds
I am.
our brand new grade, TK for All, and maintains our commitment at the same time to reduce class sizes.
Reduce class sizes, hell yeah.
Fully funded. Also a budget that continues our nation-leading investments. And I'm proud. My wife, thank you for the recognition, Mr. Speaker, my wife. But I'm proud. But she hasn't done anything yet. Hold on.
Oh,
But I'm proud
Gavin
of her
Newsom said,
advocacy
don't
and
clap
your
for my
advocacy
wife. She ain't do
on
nothing.
Making sure we continue to lead the nation in our investment in school meals. Nearly $1 billion. This is amazing. It's nearly $1 billion. Breakfast, lunch, and snacks each and every year.
Amazing. Now can we clap for
We're
her?
going to take that to the next level. And it's also, this budget's going to advance the nation's most expansive and audacious plans to eliminate ultra-processed foods at the same time from our cafeteria. California is leading
Oh
in that
yeah,
space.
get rid of also ultra-processed foods from
Yeah.
our cafeteria.
I say we're leading in that space, but you may have seen the space in that morning paper. You may have seen the space on cable networks where Donald Trump just announced a couple days ago that he will illegally be cutting all federal funding for TANF and childcare in,
Nope.
curiously, just 5 blue states. in
Oh,
America,
he's only
including
cutting
California.
SNAP benefits and stuff in 5 blue states.
Just
What
think
the?
about that as a value proposition.
That's
I'm glad
terrible.
no one applauded
That's
that.
not my president. That's not
How
a
the hell can you
president that
applaud
takes care of
You're
it,
cuts
of his
against
people.
parents, right? Total disarray, forcing them to choose between going to work or taking care of their children. And it'll also be cuts that put at risk, Madam Pro Tem understands this, the most significant expansions of childcare in the United States of America that are happening right here in California. Here's the number. Our investments support close to 500,000 children. 487,000 children are supported through our healthcare expansions in this state, saving families thousands and thousands of dollars a
So
year.
dumb. So dumb.
That is a
yes.
point of pride, and it's a point of privilege to acknowledge the leadership of the Women's Caucus, our new pro tem, and many of you for helping make that happen. It's also a point of contrast with the current administration. Child care is economic development. I'm
There's
surprised not
Eloise
everybody.
Gomez-Reyes. Sorry, I had to point her out. You could tell she's wearing her wig. I'm sorry, chat. I don't want to be mean to her, but she's an old lady. It's time to move on. Look at all of these. I mean, all of these people, they don't look that old. I feel like she's the oldest one here.
Everybody's stepping up on that one. Maybe we all don't have families.
Look at these young people up here.
I'm a dad. I appreciate child care.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure Gavin Newsom says, I need childcare so I could play Fortnite.
Look, when we talk about saving families money, let's consider the bold commitment we made just a few years ago as well. And that's to bolster after-school and summer school programs. We bolstered them by providing 9 hours a day of enrichment and 30 days of summer school each year. And I'm proud to say that this budget is going to finish the job to make that pledge universal at every elementary school in the state.
Oh
We
my
will
God.
complete that
Mandatory
commitment
summer school?
this year. That's after school
Fortnite
for
Battle
all.
Pass.
We
Hell
did
yeah,
it.
that's
Been
right.
promoted for years and years. Look, more hours of enrichment, more literacy coaches, more reading specialists, healthy meals for all, an entire grade for everyone. But we understand it's not just any one of these initiatives on their own. It's also the complete transformation of our campuses through rigorous, relevant, and engaging community schools. One of our most
Community
significant
schools?
achievements over the last few years.
What are community schools?
I want to remind you, this is important. To date, California's invested $4.1 billion in these life-changing, enriching community schools, supporting over 2,500 campuses throughout the state. And the good news is we're not done. The budget that I will propose tomorrow includes an additional
Same,
$1 billion
DV8, same.
to expand thousands of additional high-need community schools in our state. These are working. These investments are working. These investments are paying off. Just this year, this may have gotten lost in all the noise, but just this year, we've seen improved academic achievement in every subject area, at every grade level, in every student group, with greater gains of test scores for Black and Latino kids. That happened, and that's happening in California's public educational system. And it's a point of pride. It's a point of pride that those gains are particularly pronounced in Los Angeles, the nation's second largest school district. And I just want to say this to the teachers, the classified
Wow,
employees,
LA
and
is the
parents
second largest
of LA
school
Unified
district?
School kids. You should be very proud
Probably
of your
after
project,
New York City.
progress you're making, particularly proud of your leader, who's here, the superintendent of public education,
Hey,
Alberto
let's
Cavallo,
see.
who's here with us
Let's see,
today.
Superintendent
who's
of
just been doing
Public
a remarkable job.
Education.
Alberto, I appreciate you coming all the way up from Los Angeles. And just so you know, he's only been here a few years, but under his stewardship, the district is outpacing statewide progress. They're exceeding pre-pandemic levels in every category and reaching, get this, the highest levels recorded since the current state assessments were launched a decade ago. Under his
That's
leadership,
good.
that's
The
happening
pandemic
in the nation's
effed
second
kids up.
largest school district. I say this all the time. You're nothing but a mirror of your consistent thoughts. Whatever you focus on, you'll find more of. And I don't think it's such a bad thing that we start focusing on what's right in terms of the investments we made and the return on the investments that we're experiencing. And the superintendent, I assure you, he's the first one to say and acknowledge that we have a lot more work to do. With that, we also have some reforms that I think are long overdue. And I know not everyone.
All right,
may
let's
share,
hear
enthusiasm
negative
for
stuff
these reforms, but I
incoming.
think it's time to modernize the management of our educational system. So the budget I'll be submitting tomorrow proposes that we unify the policy making by the State Board of Education and the Department of Education, which I believe will allow the State Superintendent of Public Instruction to align our educational policies from early childhood through college much more efficiently. I believe that's important and long overdue reform. Speaking of long overdue, I thought we all made the right decision about getting rid of cell phones last year. in
Oh,
public
it's getting rid of cell phones in schools?
school. I think everybody can agree on that.
What do you think about that? Should we take
if you don't
away
agree,
kids'
you're not a
phones in
parent.
schools, especially
Every
if they're
parent understands
smartphones?
this. Our kids
I
are
think we
increasingly
should.
more anxious, more addicted, less free less
Dude.
happy, because so much of their
Dude,
lives
kids
is
are
lived online.
addicted to
So much of
vapes.
their
Kids are
lives have
addicted to
become performative,
vapes and their freaking
measured by external
phones.
validation, likes, and followers. We're watching the spiritual health of our young people erode, quite literally, erode in real time. The vital conversation
Dude, sorry, Gavin Newsom hit the nail on the head. The spirit of the youth erode. That's crazy. Yeah, the kids are gonna be mad, but man, I know for sure, you and me, Marcella, we grew up in a time when phones were just starting to get into school. Like, we had phones in high school. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a kid in elementary school and like the smartphone stuff there, because when I was a kid in elementary school, that's when I was more prone to screwing around, to like, playing in my desk and stuff and not paying attention in class. Like, but I had to go out there and find my own entertainment. I had to whittle down erasers and stuff. I had to play with little tech decks in my desk, Like, that was cheap. That was not nearly as entertaining as having a cell phone or a smartphone, right? DV8 said, I got a phone in the 8th grade. Was it a smartphone though, or was it like a dumb phone? Because I got my first cell phone in the 7th grade, and I kid you not, it was a flip phone. It was a flip phone that could not connect to the internet, could not do anything, and like, I never pulled that out in class because, one, also we had limited amount of text messages, so I could only I'm not going to waste my text messages talking to my friends when I can see them in class. I'm going to use my text message allowance at home when I can't talk to people. Damn, smartphone in 8th grade. That's crazy. How many what grade did you guys start seeing what was the youngest grade that you seen kids have smartphones in? Marcella said, I love playing with glue in my desk as a first grader. Oh my God, sister. Yes, no, we used to play glue. I used to put glue on my hands and go like this and do that, like, oh my God, yeah. I was a terrible kid. I got into so much trouble. DV8 said, but yeah, I didn't use it at all, really. I followed the rules, yeah. But these kids, they have so much temptation. It's impossible for them to stay off their phones. Crazy.
About what to do, that's played out here disproportionately in these chambers for well over the last decade. So I'm proud. I'm proud of all of you. I'm proud of California's leadership, leading the nation in kids' online safety, thanks to laws that you've passed, including many that I had the privilege of signing just last year on age verification, on chatbot safety, on parental controls.
Yes, we need chatbot
recently,
safety.
You saw the headlines. You may have reacted, some of you a little bit more than others, to some of those headlines in Australia. Started making you think.
Bro, I didn't get an iPhone until senior year, enough? Bro. Yeah.
Can we do more? And so the consequences of getting it wrong, you all understand. It's too apparent. Depression, social isolation.
Depression, social isolation, for sure.
Radicalization, if you think I'm overstating it.
Radicalization, all those little MAGA kids in class. Boys.
Not just online, but also offline. And forgive me for this. I paint a tougher picture, but I thought it was important. You walk into a morgue, you see 5 young people who may have taken their life by suicide. 4 are men.
No way.
Boys are 14 times more likely to be incarcerated.
Wow.
Boys.
He said, what about the men?
Twice as likely to be homeless. 1 out of 7 men don't even have one friend.
What? 1 out of 7 men don't even have one friend? What? No way. Men are this isolated? Oh my God.
This is interesting. May not be surprising to some of you. Half of young men have not even asked a woman out on a date in person.
Whoa. Hold on. Half of young women. Hold on. Let's run that back.
Likely to die from an overdose. Twice as likely to be homeless. 1 out of 7 men don't even have one friend. Half, this is interesting. May not be surprising to some of you. Half of young men have not even asked a woman out on a date in person.
Oh my God. Half of young men have not asked a woman out on a date. No way. That's, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. DV8 said, well, I have one friend. Are they a guy? Oh my God. That's crazy. Why are we so disconnected? Why? Why?
Men are struggling. Boys are struggling.
They sure
the good
are.
news is we're responding in this
No.
state.
Oh,
I was proud to
deviate.
recently issue
Half
an
a young
executive
man.
order that,
That's
among
so
other
sad.
concrete
I feel like as a lesbian, I've asked out more men than straight men have asked out women. Oh my God. Wow, that's really sad. I had no idea that men were suffering this much.
actions creates a new service challenge. We call it the Men's Service Challenge. We're calling on 10,000 young men to step up as tutors and mentors and coaches
my God,
and leaders
yes.
in their communities. I think that's important.
Bro, we need young men helping
more
young,
young
men.
men. By the way, I saw my wife. She was kind enough to stand up. This is not an ad. But about 20 years ago, she did a landmark film about the misrepresentation of women and girls called Misrepresentation. Oprah bought it. It was very well received. 2 years later, she followed up with a documentary most folks forgot about called The Mask You Live In, 2015, about masculinity and the crisis of masculinity.
Damn.
Not in a toxic sense, not in a pejorative sense, but what was happening with men and boys over a decade ago. This issue is a real issue, and it is not a zero-sum issue. This is not a zero-sum issue. We'll continue nation-leading efforts for women and girls, but we have to address this issue. And it's not, again, just addressing the issue through service that's targeted at boys. It's also service that extends through our larger Service Corps initiative in California.
Yeah,
I think this is important.
more
California
involvement.
Service Corps is now larger.
Yeah, there are a lot
than
of not
the Peace
productive
Corps.
conversations
No
about
other
this.
state
Yeah,
can lay claim to
that's
that.
crazy. That's crazy. We're going to
We
work to
have-
change that. We're going to work to change that on this broadcast.
Service
Men
matters. Shared
are
experiences
welcome
matter.
here.
You want to deal with all this crisis and all this stress? Shared experiences. No one's asking who you voted for. No one asks you where you live. Shared experiences. And we have a College Corps program in the state. You have funded. Thank you.
Yes, making cities and
The
towns
College
more
Corps program, unlike
walkable,
anything else in the United States,
100%.
over 3,500
More people would
students
get
are
out and
earning
not
up
be
to
stuck in their cars.
$10,000 to reduce their cost of education, and what we ask for in return is 450 hours of service. Service. I'm a Sarge Shriver guy. Service, he said, is the heart and soul of what binds us together. Helping personal character, helping with friendships, as well as helping with careers. And on the career front, I also want to highlight something that you've funded. I want to highlight the progress you've made. I want to
All right.
thank you for the commitment. We created the state's first master plan for career education. It was a 3-year process. We just recently completed it. Creates these seamless, debt-free pathways from school to high-paying jobs with or without.
Yeah, deviate. And it's these alpha male influencers that are part of maybe the majority of the problem. I agree. They try to market themselves as they are solving the problem, because obviously they have a solution, and the problem men are suffering so much today is because I guess women are taking that spot, right? But no, it's just the alpha males that are succeeding in convincing the young men that yeah, they are being brainwashed 100%. Young men are getting brainwashed by alpha males who, they look up to them and they're like, yep, that's an alpha guy. I need to be an alpha male because that's what society says I need to do, right? But no, it's just, they're just getting taken for a joyride. And that's terrible. Man, Gavin, another thing I wanted to cover later on was, I guess, some like looks maxing guy was, he said that he likes how attractive Gavin Newsom is, and I don't know if Gavin Newsom's the guy that's gonna be the one to save men, because I feel like, he's pretty confident with himself, he's pretty secure, but I think at the end of the day, he's still a politician. He's still a politician who wants everyone's approval, and part of, I think, what would oh, that's the guy I was talking about. Is it the guy that who hit his face? Jeez. He's another alpha. Oh, yes. Now I know what you're talking about, Marcella. He would purposely punch his face to make his bones like he would hurt his bones to make them heal in more thicker areas, right? That's crazy. That I forgot about that guy. Yeah, that's a big problem. And I think he was glazing up Newsom, right? Yep. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, let's continue this. We'll watch that. We'll watch that later on. He's gay for Gavin. Yeah.
Without college experience. We're integrating new training, strengthening these regional partnerships, and building a new career digital passport so people can track their skills. We set a goal of 500,000 apprenticeships by 2029. Today, we have exceeded that goal. Over 600,000 earn and learn opportunities, more than any other place in the country, have been funded by all of you in this chambers. That is a big accomplishment. No other state can lay claim to that. Apprenticeships matter.
Yeah,
And
apprenticeships.
these are folks in the skilled trades, right? These are the electricians and the laborers and the carpenters. And by the way, they're already at work strengthening and building the physical foundations of our state. Right now, in the state of California, we are building more infrastructure projects than at any other time since Governor Pat Brown. That is a fact.
Deviate said, it's sad as a man myself that men around my age are in this alpha male mentality. It probably puts a bad reputation on all the men around our age. I don't know. Yeah, I'd say it does make a bad reputation, but like we've literally had something like that, you know,
environmental restoration
in every generation.
bridges, water, power, rail,
I don't know if it's been
broadband.
like as bad as
These are
this
getting done
alpha
for
male
rural communities. Sites
epidemic,
Reservoir,
but it was
first
pretty
above
bad.
ground water
Toxic
storage in half a
masculinity has been
century,
around forever.
as well as the world's
Especially in
largest
America.
battery and solar storage project, 2,300 plus megawatts in Fresno County, all moving forward, but also moving forward under California's new fast track permitting authority that you authorized 2 years ago. Getting it done and getting it done faster. I debated whether or not to include this in my comments, but I thought it was important.
Let's hear it.
My gosh. How about mis and disrepresentation? How about mis and disinformation?
Lies,
Pick up
lying.
on permitting, fast tracking. You know, we're also laying tracks. Laying tracks, the nation's first high-speed rail system.
Oh my God. Are we gonna please do not debate me with this. Do not cuck me with this, Gavin. We want high-speed rail so bad. I know everyone in chat wants high-speed rail so bad. Gavin, do not play with us like this. We have been waiting. We have been waiting for high-speed rail. Do not play with our hearts, our emotions, our train-loving, autism-loving heart.
You want to do well in the future, you got to invest in the future.
Let's do it.
We want a 21st century transportation network. Full environmental clearance is done. We built over 50 major structures. More than 60 miles of guideway have been completed.
High-speed
ready
rail,
for
more
immediate
robust public
track lane in the Central
transportation,
Valley.
but yes, don't play with us. Don't
270
play with
parcels
us.
in right-of-way have been procured. Full electrification. Ask the folks in the Bay Area, they understand this. Full electrification of 51 miles of tracks for Caltrans, which is allowing people to move more quickly and more efficiently. We're connecting some of the fastest growing places in our state, and I'm proud of this. I'm proud of Fresno. I'm proud of Madero. I'm proud of Bakersfield. Those are communities we shouldn't be talking down to. Those are communities we shouldn't be talking past. This is one of the great economic investments
So
in those
tired of people
regions of our
acting
state.
like
It will make
Bakersfield
commute
is the
time shorter
flyover
and make
state
life
of
more
California.
affordable for the people of the Central Valley, and they
Central Valley
deserve
is important.
By the way, affordability, it's not a word we just discovered.
Yes.
Certainly
Apparently
not a
for
hoax.
Trump it did.
So just briefly, here's the way we think about it. I think the way most of us think about it, it's not just one issue. It's a stacking of many, many issues on top of each other. But the one issue that impacts more things in more ways on more days, pretty self-evident, it's cost of housing. It's really California's original sin. For decades, it's true. For decades and decades, the California housing reforms have been sort of notable for delay, often even denial. That said, a few years back, we got to work. In 2019, we passed the strongest statewide renter protections in the United States of America.
Renter protections, hell yeah.
In the past few years, we have enshrined the most consequential.
No way. Deviate said, in Battlefield 6 has a map based on the oil field towards Bakersfield. No way. I want to play Battlefield 6 now. That's crazy. That's great. I love that. I mean, that's awful, but I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Housing reforms in our state's history, just last year alone. And I'd have to name check about 20 of them. Scott Buffy among many, but I'd probably lead with those two. I was proud to sign 61 housing reform bills, clearing away regulatory thickets, forcing local governments, often resistance, to get in the game, and modernizing our environmental review. But we obviously have more work to do. And this year, I hope we can work together, legislature, to focus on the cost of construction, focusing on utilizing new building methods and new technology that are worker-centered reforms that must bring our brothers and sisters in labor along with us. We have that opportunity this year. Build on that. There's another area that also requires our I think, urgent attention. And that's the institutional investors that are snatching up homes by the
Yup.
hundreds and thousands at a time.
F those
These investors are crushing the dream
investors.
of homeownership and forcing rents too damn high for everybody else.
Rents are
I
too
just
damn
humbly
high.
submit, I think it's shameful that we allow private equity firms in Manhattan to become some of the biggest landlords here in our cities in California.
Yes. Dude, that's awesome that you play Battlefield.
It's time to
Played
tackle
Call
that
of
issue.
Duty. I wanted to
And I
play
look forward
that
to
one,
working
but
with
I
all of you
haven't had a chance
address
to
it.
yet. I've been wanting
For
to
the next
play
few
the new
weeks,
Battlefield. It looks really cool,
from a number of you
but
on this,
I'm
there's
still
bills,
a Call of Duty
in this space. Look forward to
lame-o.
working with the legislature to combat this, at the end of the day, it's just monopoly, it's monopolistic behavior, and strengthen accountability, level the playing field for working families. And that's going to mean more oversight and enforcement, and it potentially is going to mean changing some of our state tax code to make all of this work. Look, Malia liked the word tax. Housing is just one component.
Yes.
Housing is one component on this stack of affordability challenges that we
Yes.
face. And that's why our stack of solutions has included more than tripling the earned income tax credit in this state and providing some $7.6 billion back into the pockets of people since 2019. We've created the Young Child Tax Credit, the Foster Youth Tax Credit, new programs we created together. And I'll remind you, we increased paid sick leave and paid family leave, allowing eligible workers, this is important, just went in effect, to receive up to 90% of their wages while they're raising and supporting their families. Few states in America are doing that. Through all of these programs, through all of these targeted tax credits, these rebates and program expansions, the average California family now saves $18,000. Not insignificant, $18,000. But I also am mindful and recognize that the new cost of eggs is now your energy bill.
The new
Number one
cost of
driver, by
eggs.
the way, number one driver of your increased energy bills over the last decade has been the cost of hardening our infrastructure and other wildfire-related costs. Respectfully, significantly, not exclusively driven by climate change. That's why I was proud to work with all of you to extend our nation-leading Cap and Invest program for another 2 decades. But when we did this, we were mindful of this crisis as it relates to utility bills. And we provided in that extension close to $60 billion in rebates for your monthly energy bills. This
Wow.
legislature did that. That is
need
a
that.
meaningful accomplishment to address the issue of affordability. We also worked across our differences, finally, after years and years, to come up with a new energy market, a regional energy market that will also increase reliability at the same time it lowers energy bills. By the way, one of the things that's not high, interestingly, unsurprisingly in California, is our uninsured rate. 6.4%
Uninsured,
is one
yeah.
of the nation's lowest. In addition to our healthcare expansion, no other state has done more in that space. We also subsidize some 370,000 people to help bring down the cost of their health insurance through Covered California. But respectfully, it's not good enough just to subsidize healthcare costs. We need to lower them fundamentally. And we're doing just that, working together through our CalRx program. We launched our own generic drug label just last week.
What?
we
California
released
has a
and
generic
launched
drug
a
label?
insulin pen at just $11.
No
other
way.
state can lay claim to that. It is now available to Californians.
Whoa,
By the way, it's
okay.
just like we did with naloxone last year and other life-saving drugs. So it's in that
Yeah.
spirit that we focused on reforms, including in our mental health and homeless space. And I want to just acknowledge, when I got here, we had no homeless plan, we had no housing plan, we had no mental health plan, there's no accountability.
Drugs.
There was little investment. Not a knock, it just wasn't the focus, the priority of Sacramento. It was the responsibility of cities and counties. I know this intimately as a former mayor. When I was mayor, I never thought about calling Arnold Schwarzenegger and say, what the hell are you doing on homelessness? It wasn't even in my consciousness. It was responsibility exclusively of cities and counties. That has fundamentally changed. We crafted
Yeah.
new statewide programs. Just think
Yeah.
about this. Don't forget about it. You funded Home Key.
You
funded
can't.
Project
It's not
Room Key
a
that together
a problem
taken,
for
quite
the
literally, full
states
effect,
anymore. I mean, for the
72,000
cities, it's a
people
problem
off
for the
street by
state.
converting hotels and motels and other properties into long-term housing. And by the way, we're seeing results.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We're seeing results. Early data just compiled. You may have seen this. We just released it. Early data shows, and this is the important number, unsheltered homeless, that the number of unsheltered homeless in California dropped almost double digits, 9% last year in 2025. It dropped in the state of California. First time in over a decade and a half that we can lay claim to that. LA down 10.3%, Riverside down 19%, Contra Costa County down 34.8%. And I'll remind folks, by the
Hey,
way,
wait,
I'll
you
remind
said
folks, you
Riverside
think this is
County
unique to
down?
California. Overall homelessness in the United States of America went up 18.13%.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm going to go back.
That the number of unsheltered homeless in California dropped almost double digits, 9% last year in 2025. It dropped in the state of California. First time in over a decade and a half that we can lay claim to that. LA down 10.3%. Riverside down 9%.
Bro, I don't know. We're going to have to like fact check that because I feel like homelessness is not dropping. I feel like homelessness is going up. I don't know, bro. I really don't know, chat. Yeah, there's still a lot of homelessness and it's just like I don't know where these people are getting their numbers that it's actually dropping and stuff, but I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe they're just moving to other cities that didn't have to deal with it before. I'm not sure. But I'm very skeptical about homelessness actually going down in a time when unemployment is going up, when cost of living is going up, and what else? I just have a hard time believing that homelessness is going down.
19%. Contra Costa County down 34.8%. And I'll remind folks, by the way, you think this is unique to California? Overall homelessness in the state, in the United States of America went up 18.13%.
Okay, so it went
California,
over.
2025, unsheltered homeless, 9% reduction. First time in almost
I don't know,
2
bro.
decades.
I don't know. I want to believe.
So the investments are paying
my
off. and of
eyes tell me
of course,
otherwise.
it's not good enough, particularly for those living on the streets, self-medicating with drug and alcohol addictions, those suffering from bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and paranoia. But because of your leadership and new tools to address this issue, we've modernized California's landmark conservatorship laws for the first time in over half a century. You created Care Court, a new legal framework to connect people with untreated psychosis to court-ordered services and housing. And the California voters, they did their part. They supported Proposition 1 with a passage in 2024, $6.38 billion. Here's a brief update for folks that just think this is all going to go away on its own. We don't have to make investments. In just 18 months since the voters approved that program, we've already approved 70%.
It's a lack of social safety nets. Can you guess who got rid of those things?
It's the fastest distribution.
Was it Arnold
of bond money
Schwarzenegger?
in California's history.
Was it George W. Bush? Was it
4,000
Obama?
Here's a numeric. 4,236
Tell us, DV8, who took
new
away the
months
social
of
safety nets?
18,875 new outpatient beds. It's a big deal. And on July 1st, in just a matter of months, this year, we'll implement the second phase of Proposition 1 by redirecting $1 billion a year in annual mental health funding for housing and treatment for people living on the streets, providing counties what they've been asking
Ronald
for.
Reagan, that's
$1 billion
right. Ronald
predictable
Reagan got
every
rid
year.
of all the social safety nets back then.
So I say
Thank
this with
you.
love and respect to the counties. No more excuses. It's time to bring people off the streets and out of encampments and into housing and treatment. No more excuses. You've done your job, members of the legislature. We have.
My favorite,
No
my
more.
favorite president, the first Make
State
America
vision is
Great Again
realized
guy, Ronald
Localism is
Reagan.
determinative. Just is. Period.
There
Doesn't
you
mean I
go.
am,
Thank you,
but anyone knows
Stardust.
about that. And that's why just
The
since
original Make
2021,
America
the
Great
state
guy.
has removed, with your support, some 19,000 encampments. And we've worked with providers all across the state to get over 61,000 people out of those encampments and into services. We're seeing results, making streets safer for everyone, fully recognizing that quality of life is at the core of so much of the frustration people feel about our state. And when it comes to quality of life, when it comes to public safety specifically, let's talk about the facts. For the first time in California's history, you stepped up, did something we've never done in the past. You provided grants to police departments, prosecutors, to combat organized crime, retail theft, and hold criminals accountable. You provided
No,
260.
DV8. Ronald Reagan crawled so Trump could get in a jet. Yes, that is so true. Ronald Reagan crawled so Donald Trump could get a jet. Yep. Fraud. Oh man.
$67 million to 55 local law enforcement agencies. We deployed crime suppression teams. We deployed them in Bakersfield. We deployed them in San Francisco. We deployed them in San Bernardino, in Oakland, and recently, because of the tragedy, the shooting in Stockton, we deployed them there. We're supporting local law enforcement. We're also supporting, with the help of the California Highway Patrol, a force that's been bolstered by the addition of 1,000 new officers. And here are the results.
Oh no. Here we go. I don't want to hear the propaganda,
Here are the results.
but we're going to
We have
listen.
seen double-digit decreases in crime overall in the state of California. Property crime. Property crime down, aggravated assault down,
Property
car theft
crime?
down, burglary down, robbery down, violent crime down. California cities are seeing record low homicide rates. Oakland, the lowest homicide rate since 1967.
No way.
LA,
No way.
the lowest
Really?
since 1966.
Oakland? Has Oakland homicide rate gone down? That's crazy.
My old town, San Francisco, they're going to have to update their talking points, aren't they? My old town, San Francisco, the lowest homicide rate since 1954.
Wow.
1954.
You mean 1954? Jeez,
Again,
why is he
we
got to
got more
say it
work
like
to do, but
that?
to those with that California derangement syndrome,
California
I'll repeat,
derangement
it's time
system.
to update your talking points.
Oof. Oof. Hell yeah, Newsom.
You guys
Hell
have been working
yeah.
hard at this. No one's walked away from public safety. You guys have been leaning into public safety. We didn't turn a blind eye to this. We invested in it. We did the hard work. We didn't sit by and moralize it. We didn't talk about it. We leaned in.
Crazy.
You leaned in. And you're producing real
Crazy.
results all throughout the state of California. Proud of that.
Yeah,
Well,
which
California
neighborhood in Oakland?
remains the most
I don't
blessed
know.
and often cursed place on earth. Profound natural beauty, prosperity, profound natural disasters, testing our spirit, testing our resources. I want to close with two things here. I was down in Belém in Brazil at COP30.
He was in Brazil? Why?
It was a climate conference. By the way,
never mind.
the U.S., nowhere to be found.
Oh, yeah.
We were a footnote. The
Wow.
United States was a footnote. China, close to 800 delegates.
What? China
United
beating
States,
us.
Not one. Not even a note taker. I want to remind everybody, China today manufactures industrial policy.
Oh, yeah.
Manufactures 70% of the world's electric vehicles. They're flooding the global market with increasingly high quality and inexpensive cars. And I just want to say this clearly.
Bro, China
Bit of our rational-
has inexpensive electric cars. Why can't we have inexpensive electric cars? Gavin Newsom is 100% right. Can we get a deep fried stream one day? Oh, yeah, one day. Homie just wants people to glaze him. You're going to start streaming on Billy now? Heck yeah. We're going to start streaming on Billy. We're going to stream to all my Chinese viewers, all my Chinese fans.
Now, this is not about green power. This is about economic power. They are dominating the space. They're locking in markets.
Yep.
They're locking in supply chains. They're
China
locking their
is
influence
doing
all
well
across
economically.
The globe. They're cleaning
They
our
are
clock.
making the moves.
But in California, we're not bystanders.
No.
We've already seen 7 times more clean energy jobs than fossil fuel jobs in the state of California.
Nice.
And last year alone, the 4th largest economy in the world, using 100% clean energy. 4th largest economy in the world was run on 100% clean energy for at least a part of 9 out of 10 days.
Whoa.
Think about
Sorry, that was a weird thing to say. He said plus 100,000 social credits. Yes, I'll take all the social credits. Oh my God, Gavin Newsom said we ran on 100% clean energy for 7 out of 8 days. Such an achievement. I'm sorry. That just seems like such a stupid way to phrase it.
that. That's unprecedented. Unprecedented.
I mean, yes, I guess it's unprecedented, but
Almost
why
9
couldn't
out of 10 days.
9 out of 10?
Two-thirds today, 2/3 of our energy comes from clean sources. Solar, hydro, comes from wind, and geothermal comes from nuclear power. And just last year, California finally ended its use of any coal-fired power.
No way. That's great.
None. We're in the how business. We're proud to be in the how business. And we understand something that increasingly people are starting to understand, at least people that are open to argument, interested in evidence. That climate risk is financial risk. That
Yes.
climate risk is becoming uninsurable.
Yes.
That's why in California, we're making our homes and communities more resilient to heat and fire. That's why we're working with our insurance commissioner. A lot of work to do here. Talk about grace. Working with our insurance commissioner to protect homeowners from unpredictable rate increases and cancellations. We became the first state, together, we became the first state in the country to require insurers to lower insurance for home hardening upgrades. That is not the case in any other state. And in the last few months, this is important, in the last few months, 6 insurance companies announced their commitment to remain in or expand coverage here in California. Again, a lot more work to do.
That's good.
That was important. That was an
Sad
important
day for
milestone.
anyone named
We saw
Cole.
it, Farmers and Mercury, and some of the AAA affiliates. Important milestone. But more work to do. Fully implement the commitments we laid out in the sustainable insurance strategy, and more work to do to hold insurance companies accountable for meeting their obligation to insure in high-risk areas throughout the state of California.
Yes, we need more home insurance in these high-risk areas.
I want to end with this. I was down in L.A. yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Got back last night, and those insurance stories, they self-evidently, unsurprisingly, were front and center
Yeah.
with those survivors that I met. Let me
and,
remind
the
everybody,
Palisades fires?
I think it's important. I want to remind everybody what happened a year ago. Put it in perspective. Between January 7th and January 22nd, 48,000 acres burned, the size
Wow.
of 3 Manhattans. 3.
Size
Communities,
of 3
Torrance,
Manhattans
Palisades,
burned.
Altadena, Malibu, Pasadena's. Fires took the lives of 31 people.
Wow.
31. Destroyed
RIP,
16,000
31 people
structures.
lost a
On the
year
sober
ago.
anniversary, not only right that we honor the lives lost, but we also honor the lives of some of the remarkable heroes and leaders, the
Hell
first
yeah.
responders and firefighters that face
Firefighters for
unimaginable
sure.
conditions.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Some of you were there. You saw it.
Who are they looking at? Everyone in the audience is looking at someone. I don't know who it is. Pan over, pan. Oh, okay.
16,000 at peak, 16,000 personnel working in the arena, the theater fires, 16 plus large-scale fires. Remarkable. It was a firestorm, I'll remind you, in the middle of winter.
Yep,
Hurricane
firestorm
force
in the
winds
middle of
attached
winter.
to a fire.
Unheard of.
What they did, I don't need to say it, you just demonstrated, was miraculous, was heroic. They battled these impossible conditions in the wind and in the dark, flying dangerous night missions over the firestorm. CAL FIRE, as you saw a moment ago, is in the audience, but you know who else was up there? And thank you for applauding the community groups and the business owners, and most importantly, can you just stand up? And I'd ask you all to stand up again. The survivors of the Eaton and Palisades
Oh, hell
fires.
yeah.
Would you all just stand
Shoot.
up? And
I'll
thank
stand
you
up for the
your
survivors.
courage. Thank you for your
Everyone in chat,
resiliency.
stand up for
Thank
the
you for your
survivors.
strength.
Putting my hand over my heart for them.
We
God
haven't forgotten
bless
about
those
you. We won't forget
survivors.
about you.
Oh my God, they're doing
We
hearts.
said we had your back.
They're
and we
throwing
mean
up
it.
hearts. That's so cute.
Thank you.
That's so cute. Man, those
Thank
people
you.
are amazing. Poor people.
It's always difficult sometimes to talk about this because we were in roundtables, Jen, members of my administration yesterday, talking to survivors, and it's called comfort when you say we have the fastest debris removal in U.S. history, which is true. Fact. We provided mortgage relief. You provided $2.5 billion of grants and funding. I've signed 27 executive orders. You've passed
27.
dozens and dozens of bills to reduce and remove, reduce time, reduce red tape to allow survivors to rebuild much more quickly. And it is true. At this time, 14,000 structures in the Paradise fire. There were only 385 permits, 16,000 structures. We've over 2,500 permits in LA, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not one of the beneficiaries of that. And so we recognize that it's not good enough, and it's not nearly good enough. And that's why we need to do more to turbocharge the efforts to rebuild these communities. And that's why I'll be asking you, and it's in the budget we'll promote tomorrow, to focus on a new rebuilding fund that will help close the gap. This is the biggest challenge. Close the gap between insurance payouts and the cost of rebuilding.
Yes.
This will help get survivors back in their
Insurance
homes
should
much
be
faster.
like what the house was worth.
But I'd be remiss. Contrast these efforts with the President of the United States. It's been a year.
It's been a year.
Contrast these efforts to Donald Trump's. His complete failure to act. He's even refusing to send a disaster recovery.
There we go.
request to
This is
Congress
Gavin's
of $33.9
pitch
billion.
for
By the
I'm
way,
better
that
than
request
Trump. I'm going to
supported
be
by
the next
every
president
member
of the United States.
California delegation. Every Democrat, every Republican. We lost someone I thought was a wonderful human being, Doug LaMalfa.
Oh shit, we
engaging
just
with
talked
him on
about him
water policy
yesterday.
just last week.
Doug LaMalfa.
Doug had our back.
He
Doug
did?
was there in the first
He
round.
was a MAGA
Doug
guy,
met with
wasn't
us.
he?
Doug said we don't play politics with
Okay.
this. It's time
Maybe
for the
I was
President
wrong
of the
about him.
United States to act like the President of the United States, all the United States of America, to fulfill his promises that he made to deliver for the people of Los Angeles. It's time for the President of the United States to do his job, not turn his back on Americans that happen to live in the great state of California. He was there. We were there for you in paradise. The United States of America. The
Okay,
United
here we got
States of
another
America.
shot of everyone in the audience.
No doubt these are challenging times. It's not just because of the fires, not just because we get to the federalization of the National Guard or the assault on our democratic norms and institutions. And yet, I think it was one of our finest. Because hardship doesn't merely wound us, it reveals us. The story of California has never been a story of ease. It's a story of effort, strengthened by trial and enlarged by the people who refuse to give up on one another. We built something that is not perfect, not finished, but it's real, always moving forward, like the rivers that define our landscape. Our people themselves are unstoppable. We're home to more Americans than any other state. Culture, food, music, AI, biotech, quantum computing, agriculture, all happens here first. We don't run from change, we drive it. And we're proving that inclusive democracy works. We're proving that expanding human rights works. We're proving that legal immigration works. And we're proving that a progressive tax structure works. California's never been about perfection. We're about persistence, the courage of our convictions, and the strength to embody them. That's the California way. And it lights the path for the rest of the world. The work we do, the work you do, building a California where every person can see themselves is never ending. And so we continue on. Because years from now, we can tell our children we did not settle for the world as it was. We can say with pride, we built something worthy of them. We built the future. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you to this legislature for your remarkable leadership. Thank you.
Wow. Chat, what did you think of that? What did you think of Gavin Newsom talking? Oh my God. That was pretty epic, I think. I think that was a good, there was, I'm going to say nothing bad that he said in that speech, even though there was. Yeah, cool, I guess, right? Damn, that's crazy. Okay. I wanted to see if California Republicans would respond to that. I don't know. Let's see. Dang, what do you guys think of his speech? It was okay. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, it was nothing. It had some banger moments. Of course, where's Medicare and Social Security for all? I feel like he could have mentioned that more instead of just attacking Trump on removing it. There could have been some more, but it was short. Well, maybe not short, but it was to the point, right? It was to the point. We get it. Gavin Newsom has been succeeding with California, or at least he's, saying everything he needs to say. He's putting himself out there. Well, I don't know if the news is going to cover this. I checked out Hasanabi. He was not covering this. Okay, here we go. California Republicans respond to Gavin Newsom's State of the State. Oh, they have the whole.
You're answering that we are.
Here we go. Oh no. Yeah, okay, so let's see this. It's from ABC. Let me like that real quick. And then it was a good speech. He's definitely still positioning himself against Trump, trying to remind everyone that he has done more for the state of California than Trump has done for the entire United States. So, really, really gearing up to continue getting himself out there. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Oh, man. Homie needs to redo his roots. You can see his gray roots showing. Oh my God, this really be the raw footage, huh? Okay. Anytime now, mister. Anytime that he could start talking. Oh.
Good morning. I'm California Senate Minority Leader Brian Jones here with the Senate Republican response to Governor Newsom's State of the State.
Okay.
As we all just witnessed, Governor Newsom's airbrushed spin job of a State of the State address sounds great if you aren't paying attention. But I'm here to talk plainly about the real situation on the ground here in California.
Wait, what was this guy's name? Did he introduce himself? Oh yeah, Senate GOP leader Brian W. Jones, Assembly Republican James Gallagher deliver the party's alternate vision. Okay.
California, how we got here and how we can get through it and fix California. To cut through the campaign stump speech he just delivered, he's working hard to pull the wool over the eyes of the nation and convince us his unequivocal failure as a governor somehow makes him qualified to be our president.
Yeah, no worries.
Here's what's really going on here in California. The state of this state is, in fact, a failed one, but it can be saved. It is the single most expensive place to live in America.
Yes, that is true.
groceries,
What are California Republicans going to do to make it more inexpensive for Californians? I want to know. Let me put this at normal speed because homie be talking a little too fast.
You name it. And working California families just cannot keep up. Our schools are broken in English, in math, and in science. More than half of California students do not meet basic standards.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't done
They
anything.
aren't ready for college, they aren't ready for the workforce, and they are not getting the education they so desperately need and are so definitely entitled to. Our schools have failed them, full stop.
Oh my God. This man is not PR trained. Because watch how he...
somehow makes him qualified to be our president. Here's what's really going on here in California. The state of this state is, in fact, a failed one, but it can be saved.
Watch.
It is the single most expensive place to live in America. Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it. And working California families just cannot keep up. Our schools are broken in English, in math, and in science. More than half of California students do not meet basic standards. They aren't ready for college, they aren't ready for the workforce, and they are not getting the education they so desperately need and are so definitely entitled to. Our schools have failed them, full stop. Our government under the...
Sorry. Our schools have failed him. Our schools have failed them. Full stop. Jesus.
The one-party rule that defines the Newsom era has not only failed to correct course, it is the very policies championed by this governor that have created this horrible situation. We must see investment dollars actually reach the classroom, not just line the pockets of union bosses and bloated administrator salaries.
Oh, man.
We must ensure student success through teacher accountability.
This Republican said that the money that Gavin Newsom said was going to schools, or that figure that he said, it was like $27,400 something per student, right? That more money is being dedicated to students, right? Well, the Republican just said that it's actually that money is just going to union bosses. What? Homie, what? That's crazy.
Must move away from schools as indoctrination centers and afford parents the peace of mind
What the...
that their children are getting a first-rate education they deserve. In public safety, too, we must get back to basics and make crime illegal again.
Make crime illegal again.
Criminal justice policies that serve criminals
Idiot.
and bring no justice to victims should be abolished. This isn't complicated unless we make it so. And boy, this governor has done that.
Okay.
Rejecting the desperate calls of Californians from across the political and social economic spectrum, Newsom has spent years protecting lawlessness and criminals. To hell with the law-abiding. Take a walk downtown in Gavin Newsom's California, and you'll see businesses boarded, homeless defecating and getting high in plain sight,
Whoa.
and drug dealers operating with impunity in the heart of once vibrant communities. Communities now
Okay,
robbed of the
I'm
opportunity-
agreeing with the Republican. He said homelessness is still a problem. And yes, I agree with the Republican. Homelessness is still a problem in California.
joy and beauty that once defined them just a generation ago. A generation before Newsom and the mainstream left in California
The mainstream
became
left.
indistinguishable from the fringe. Gaslight Gavin would have you believe he's made historic improvements to the quality of your life since taking office 7 years ago.
Thank you. Broken
Don't
clock
believe
is
your
right
lying
twice a day, I
eyes,
guess.
he
Thank
says.
you.
Believe him and his ministry of spin masters and script doctors. He distorts the data and spreads misinformation to have you believe things are better now. But look through the smoke and mirrors, ignore the sleight of hand, and cut through the campaign rhetoric. Look around your own life. Look at your utility bill.
Yep.
Look at your grocery costs.
It's still
Look
high.
at your community, your safety.
It's bad.
Your opportunity.
Yep. I have no
Look at the cost
opportunities.
and quality of your life here in California and ask yourself if they match up. If you,
What are you
like so
offering
many
me?
working families in our state think it's time for change, then push back against Governor Newsom and his Democrat friends here in the Capitol. Rise up and demand more than false claims of victory and false promises of progress from a man eyeing the Oval Office more than the future well-being and prosperity of hardworking Californians. Rise up and demand affordability.
Oh, wait, this Republican said rise up for affordability. I thought Donald Trump said affordability is a fake word. Yeah, it's high, but are you doing anything like a plan? No, exactly. At least Gavin Newsom, even if he's lying, he has the decency to sit to our face and be like, here's how I want to make it better. Here's how I think it should be better. This guy, he has not given any solutions yet. He's only been crapping on Newsom. Let's see if at the end of the speech he gives some more. If he gives some actual suggestions.
Senior community. Demand schools that work for your kids. Demand a government and governor that puts your needs ahead of his own. Rise up and say no to more taxes.
Not to be stupid, but I demand a president that puts Americans' needs before his own. Can we start with the president first, and then maybe we can work on Gavin Newsom if that's really the case?
If you, like so many working families in our state, think it's time for change, then push back against Governor Newsom and his Democrat friends here in the Capitol. Rise up and demand more than false claims of victory and false promises of progress from a man eyeing the Oval Office more than the future well-being and prosperity of hardworking Californians. Rise up and demand affordability.
Demand affordability.
Safety in your community. Demand schools that work for your kids. Demand a government and governor that puts your needs ahead of his own.
Yeah, and
Rise
a president.
Up and say no to more taxes. Say no to rich politicians spending more of your money while you're left with less and less.
No, come on. Homie is literally talking against his own party. Demand more of politicians that should. Oh my God. It's simple work for people to give us Medicare and Social Security for all and all other human rights. Yeah. Why? Man, where's Mitt Romney? We need Mitt Romney Republicans again, because at least Mitt Romney was like, yeah, we'll do affordable health care. Mitt Romney did affordable health care in the state of Massachusetts.
Rise up and stand with California Republicans and help us fix California. Thank you for this opportunity this morning to speak to you directly from the Capitol. And now I would like to introduce my very good friend and colleague from the Assembly, Assemblyman James Gallagher.
James Gallagher, let's hear what you got to say, homie.
Thank you, Leader Jones. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. I want to start on a...
Why does he look like a Timu Liam Neeson? I'm sorry. He looks like a Timu balding Liam Neeson. Don't look too far behind, because you might see Anakin Skywalker following him with this Qui-Gon Jinn ass face. God damn.
This afternoon, we just heard from Gavin Newsom in his State of the State, and it's more of the same. More of the same partisan back and forth and problems not getting solved. I believe it's time for a third way politics.
A third way?
California. A third way politics of Republicans and Democrats coming together to actually solve the problems.
Okay, I'm down for this.
This state. It's a kind of politics that a man I very much admire.
Oh no.
And just passed this week,
Doug LaMalfa,
exemplified as a congressman from California. Doug believed very strongly in this state, loved his country, his community, and he would work with anybody to solve the problems facing his district and the state of California. He famously would wait till the end of every State of the Union speech to speak to the president, Republican or Democrat, to talk about the problems facing this state, his district, and to have that one opportunity to maybe get that point across and get something done for the people of California. That was the example of Doug LaMalfa, not the example that Gavin Newsom just tried to make.
What?
Using
Gavin gave him a good
vitriol. Doug LaMalfa believed that the president had our back, and he was willing to work with the governor and across party lines to make sure that we accomplish things for the North State and for the people of California. That's what we need. Over these past few weeks, I've had some really good conversations, actually with Democrats. Mayor Matt Mahan on a better path forward.
Who is
to
Mayor
homelessness
Matt
policy
Mahan?
in this state. I've had conversations with Maggie Krell.
Yeah, DV8. Gavin said he didn't say a single negative thing about Doug LaMalfa. So I don't understand how this Republican is like, Gavin Newsom was painting this Republican in a bad light. Like, literally, they both said the same thing. Gavin Newsom said Doug LaMalfa was down to, work for his people. He was down to work, talk with the president, no matter what their party was. Yeah, gosh, Republicans are never going to be happy in the state of California. It's dumb. Freaking, California surfing Liam Neeson, has his facts wrong.
Colleague in the assembly on a better way on public safety in this state. I've had conversations and worked with Jesse Gabriel in the assembly on nutrition.
I kid you not, he's Liam Neeson with a surfer dude accent.
I've talked to even the governor's top lieutenant of Cal Volunteers, Josh Friday, on how we empower young men in this state. Those are all things that we should be talking about and working on, not continued partisan back and forth. We can agree. I'll say, the governor, I can agree with him on phones, on nutrition.
Here we go. I think
on
this is
better
a good
controls
picture.
on AI.
Is this not Liam Neeson?
On Sites Reservoir.
This is
and
Liam
investments in
Neeson.
Infrastructure. And I agree with him.
They literally have the same jaw and nose. That's crazy. They are the same guy. I'm sorry. What was his name? James something. James Gallagher and Liam Neeson are the same person.
Institutional investors who are buying up our housing in this state.
Oh yeah, Gavin said that.
Problem.
We need all these.
First, we need to recognize that mostly our policy has been on the wrong track.
Oh, here we
And
go.
that over the 8 years of Gavin Newsom, we've mostly stayed in entrenched policies that have made Californians' lives worse. We have to reform and change those policies if we truly want to see something better. The common theme, of course, is affordability, which he has done nothing to address in his
What
8
about
years.
Trump,
No
bro?
cost in California has gone down. They have only gone up. California families are paying more and getting less. And no matter how much the governor polishes his speech, affordability remains the real issue facing California.
How come Trump doesn't want to do affordability anymore?
The stats that Gavin likes to constantly cite are meaningless to Californians who are barely staying afloat. After 7 years in office, the only question that really matters is this: are we really building what's right? Are you better off than you were 7 years ago? And of course, the answer for California families is no, because we've stayed in these entrenched policies. He mentioned the healthcare minimum wage without mentioning that that is what has our hospitals on the brink of closure.
Oh my
right now.
God. Surfer Liam Neeson just said, the reason why healthcare is so expensive is because we pay our healthcare workers too much. Bro. DVA said, yeah, but the Republicans have a wrong way of going about solving men's issues. Yeah, that's for sure.
Healthcare opportunities in many of our areas. He mentioned the fast food increase, wage increase, without mentioning the 18,000 jobs that we have now lost in our fast food industry. For
Scapegoat
all
the working class. That's right.
Wealth inequality. He oversees, as governor of the state, with the largest gap between rich and poor in the nation. So maybe your policies aren't working, Governor, and maybe it's time to start admitting it. Education is not just about money. More money spent on education that is not getting the job done and has our kids near last in the nation doesn't mean that you've established progress. Childcare, I agree. It's a major issue. We need to make sure that our people in the state can afford childcare, can get access to childcare. Because after all, Most of us don't have a nanny like the governor and his wife do.
Oh my God.
And so
Damn.
what we are saying is it's important that those monies actually...
Yeah, enough people will eat this up and repeat the workers are getting paid too much. Yeah. It's so dumb. And then you'll have the people that are like, well, see, now we have all the kiosk in McDonald's and they're getting rid of the jobs because the workers are demanding too much. No, it's always about been saving the money. The corporation's goal is to save as much money as possible and count it as profits. Yeah. No, the workers need more money. The workers need more money. That's the only way we're going to be able to afford more housing. Bro probably has a nanny too. All rich people do. Hell yeah, especially if you're working in government. This guy, if he's an assembly person, he has to fly back and forth from his district to Sacramento all the time. I don't know if he has any kids, but unless your kids are going with you, you are away from your family. Anyone know when anyone know when Yam Tit's State of the Union speech is going to air? You talk about Trump Stardust? Yeah, I forget when that's happening, but we'll watch that too.
Get to the people who need it and not wasted through fraudulent actors who are taking advantage of our system. You can't talk about childcare and making sure that the money's getting there without talking about the real fraud and abuse that is going on right here in California. And we've seen it in many sectors. EDD, cell phones that were bought and wasted, a 911 system that still hasn't been brought up to date after millions
Cell
and
phones
millions
that
of
were
dollars
bought and
spent.
wasted? What is he talking about?
These are all things that Gavin refuses to recognize, and he refuses to govern. That is our issue. We are more than willing to continue to work across the aisle with Democrats on policies that actually work.
Oh, so
8 years ago,
so he's saying Republicans are willing to work with Democrats on Republican policies only. That's not reaching across the aisle, brother.
he said it was time to put the brakes on high-speed rail. Now today, he wants to put it on the fast track. Despite billions of audits that have shown that this project is not affordable and is ballooned beyond all costs and forecasts. He says the Central Valley wants it. I can guarantee you they do not. And they have been actually very, very vocal about the fact that they do not want this.
Yeah,
project.
this is,
But
Stardust said, this is one of the worst rebuttals to an address,
after all, localism
like
is
probably since
discriminatory.
Marco Rubio, and he had to drink that
Unless
water
you
and he
don't
was so
agree with his
thirsty.
homeless policies and
These
you
people
think
are
that
pathetic.
should
They
get
need to be
clean and
media
sober
trained.
before they get into housing.
He's like all over the place.
Climate policy
Come on, Liam Neeson.
is a financial risk in this state. We agree there should be a good climate policy that reduces emissions in this state.
Amen
But
to
all
that,
Gavin Newsom's
DV8.
climate policy
Saying
has done
fraud
is
doesn't
increase
happen
your
in
electricity
EDD,
bill,
Social Security, etc.
increase
But
your
that's like
gas
very few
prices,
people, a very, very low
far beyond
percentage. Not
measure,
enough to justify
and
getting rid of the
the
whole
cost of
freaking
pretty much
program.
everything else. And meanwhile, we've had devastating wildfires because we've failed to make the investments that we should have been making in wildfire management that have put millions of metric tons of carbon in the atmosphere. That is a failure.
Wait,
It is a policy.
he cares about the environment? A Republican in California cares about the environment and that fires put all this carbon in the air? Oh my God.
that has not worked. We must change course and reform. Housing, we've made some progress, but there's more to be done on that front. And certainly, even with the policies passed, we have still not seen housing prices go down. In fact, in California, they've jumped 75%.
Yes,
since
housing has
2020.
always been
Far
going
faster,
up. What are
than
Republicans
wages
doing?
Have grown, of course, even with these minimum wage
Yeah,
increases.
Republicans in the
Barely
environment.
means
They
that the
only
goal of
care about the
homeownership
environment
is no
when
longer
it's
reachable
a
for
good
young
line of
families
attack
and
against
first-time
Democrats, I guess.
homebuyers. Our government, under the one-party rule that defines the Newsom area, the partisan vitriol, the fighting President Trump all the time without actually getting results on issues, is the very policies that are hurting Californians today. We must invest dollars that actually reach the classroom, not just line the pockets of union bosses and bloated administrators.
There they go with the union
We
bosses
need
again. What the
reforms that
frick?
actually make sure our kids are performing and they're reaching their dreams. And let me say this about young men, because I think this
Oh,
is a
here we
goal
go.
that both
Here we go,
share,
men.
the governor and I. But if you want young men to become successful,
Yes.
you have to teach them to actually be men
Oh, boy.
and not to persist in woke liberal nonsense
Oh, boy.
that the governor has championed. Governor, if you're lamenting that men can't ask women on a date, it's because you told them that that's harassment. That's toxic masculinity. We do.
What is this? Oh my God. Oh my God. You were so right, DV8. You had a pre-watch Piker moment. What is that? This guy said, Gavin Newsom said that men can't get a date. Well, you know what? You, Gavin Newsom said that asking women out is sexual harassment. Oh my God. This is exactly like how the alpha chads talk. Oh my God. And this guy has a busted hairline. He has thinning hair that I'm sure he dyes. Oh my God. Oh my God.
We need to be investing in our young men, and we need to raise them to
Yes.
be protectors and providers.
Oh my God. You know how, yes, 2015 through 2016 ass stuff. Stardust said, this is why young men claim that it's hard being a man in 2025 because dipshits like this purposely misrepresent everything Newsom said. Misinterpreted everything Newsom said. Yes, 100%. 100%.
Absolutely ready for that mission. But I don't think that Gavin Newsom, in all of these areas, is going to be the person who will lead us to that third way of politics. It's going to be a new generation of leaders, Republicans and Democrats in California, coming together, tackling these very real problems and finding real solutions, and not persisting in the same policies that have made us the most expensive state, that have made us number one in poverty, that have made us near the top in unemployment, and that, yes, we have many great industries, agriculture, manufacturing, that were number one long before Gavin Newsom ever took office here,
Yeah.
but right now are teetering because of the policies that have been enacted in this state. We can and we will do better, but only if we change course and we begin a new third way of politics. Here in
Okay.
California.
Third way of politics in
I
California.
welcome that opportunity, and we'll be working with people from all walks of life here in California to make it so. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. That's it. Get off screen. Get off screen. Damn. That was bad. That was really bad. That was so weak. Republicans in California are so weak. They should just stop trying. Just turn into Democrats. Turn into Nancy Pelosi, conservative Democrats. Oh my God, that was bad. Oh. All right. All right. We got one more thing to cover, and then we're going to log off for the day. I want to read this article from The Atlantic. It came out January 6th, and it is all about Gavin Newsom and a little bit more of the manosphere stuff. So let's get into it. All right. By Helen Lewis, the front runner. California Gavin Newsom would rather be wrong than weak. Because that's what I'm saying. He doesn't care about looking weak. Gavin Newsom has a 30-page file of reasons the Democrat lost the 24 presidential election. Bounding across his Sacramento office, he starts listing them. Incumbency, inflation, interest rates, Israel. And that's just the letter I. Yes, too woke, he adds. Yes, 107 days, referring to the short campaign after Joe Biden forced withdrawal. But the Californian governor distills his party's problem down to one word: weak. Damn. Newsom slaps his hands on a marked-up hardbook of Bill Clinton's memoir, brought down from the shelf a minute earlier. Given the choice, he tells me, summing up a crucial Clinton insight, one many Democrats still can't quite seem to grasp. The American people always support strong and wrong versus weak and right. Amazing. Was that from Clinton? That's pretty fucking epic. Deviate said, when the opportunity comes, he's going to reject everything. Yeah, so Republicans ain't got nothing. He didn't offer any changes and better solutions. Yeah. That's why I'm a Gavin stan. As cringe as it is, as lib as I may seem, I'm here for Gavin. According to the prediction markets and early polling, Newsom is the Democrats' current frontrunner for 2028. He is also the most visible anti-Trump force in America. That is so true. And that's what I wish other Democrats would get through their head. They need to be as visible anti-Trump as possible. Like even Bernie Sanders isn't as visibly anti-Trump as Newsom is. AOC is not as visibly anti-Trump as Newsom is. His idea of strength includes a willingness to fight dirty, going lower than Barack Obama could ever imagine. God bless Michelle Obama, who said, "When they go low, we go high." Gavin Newsom is saying, when they go low, we go lower. And his social media account bristle with memes about Donald Trump's bruised hand and advancing age. Donald has fallen asleep in his cabinet meeting, he recently asserted on X. Some posts are downright cruel, such as the one about Elon Musk's estrangement from his transgender child. "We're sorry your daughter hates you, Elon," it said. I mean, I think Vivian, whatever her last name is, Elon's child, she hates Elon. She hates her dad, so it's like, it doesn't matter. I don't see that as a mean thing, pointing out the obvious. But okay, we don't want to hurt Elon Musk feelings, right? He also has a high tolerance for risk. Prop 50, a ballot measure that has redrawn California's congressional map in favor of the Democrats, was seen as a toss-up when he first backed it last year. The new map was blatant partisan gerrymandering, a departure from the time when the Democrats used to talk up the fairness of independent commissions. Morally wrong, maybe, but do you want to win the House or not? Prop 50 passed by a 2-1 margin. Newsom, who is 58 years old, has a memoir coming out next month. Oh, damn, we gotta read that book. This is a title rite of passage for people running for president, which he is, even though we are supposed to pretend that he hasn't decided yet. I thought he already said he did, but okay. He has some obvious advantages, like over the likely competition. A heterosexual white man from a Catholic background. I did not know Gavin Newsom was Catholic, just like Joe Biden. Nothing about his identity is electorally risky. He is a tall 6'3". That's right, 6'3", not fake 6 foot with shoe lifts, Donald. And a good looking in a fairly sinister way. You can imagine him being played by Matthew McConaughey or the vampire dad from Twilight. No, why would they do that to him? Bella's dad, the vampire dad. That was Edward's dad, right? Hold on. We're doing Twilight deep dive. Thank you. Dr. Carlisle Cullen. Yeah, okay. Gavin Newsom does look like him. Gavin Newsom does look like Edward Cullen's dad. All right. In the political arena now dominated by podcast, he can talk until he's hoarse. As San Francisco mayor, he once uploaded a multi-part State of the City address to YouTube that lasted more than 7 hours. Damn, he talked. As for his liabilities, well, the word smarm comes up a lot. The teeth are too white, the hair perfectly gelled, as if to compensate for his overuse of buzzwords. He told me he was concerned about the significant expansion in the healthcare space from sustainability perspective. Oof. Man and brother are strategically developed to seem folksy. In person, he is enormously charismatic and obviously performing. Well, yeah. He's a good communicator, the Bay Area political strategist Alex Clemens told me. He tries very hard to be a good communicator. I mean, if Bill Clinton is his idol, then that makes sense. And some people latch on to the trying hard instead of the end results. Newsom's core views are also hard to ascertain. Right now, Democrats are divided into multiple camps. The can-do abundance crew, centrists who warn about the overreach of the groups, such as ACLU, resistant libs, often often dismissively referred to as the wine mom tendency, and the far left populist. Okay, so the three people are the establishment Democrats, wine moms, and left wing populist, aka Bernie Bros, or, a Zoran Bros. Marcella said, hey, he's the only vampire that doesn't want to drink human blood and works as a doctor. He's badass. Okay, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. I was being mean to Edward Cullen's dad. Okay. Newsom is trying to offer something to all four factions. His mentor, former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, said last year that his protege is a movie star capable of being elected president, but also that he has never asked Newsom what he believes for fear he doesn't know. Newsom's campaign tactics are similarly fluid. At the start of Trump's second term, the governor offered him an open hand, not a closed fist, before casting himself as the leader of the resistance. His attributes to change the deployment of the National Guard to his state, I was shaped by a different consciousness and understanding of our politics, he told me. There's another problem, California. Newsom was born and bred in a state widely associated with moonbeams, metrosexuality, and microbiotics. He has faced a serious challenge from the right and has instead spent a career among left-wing interest groups whose stance on immigration, drugs, gender, and climate change seem too far out for middle America. If you want to see the socialist Biden-Harris future for our country, just take a look at California, one speaker of the 2020 RNC said. Who was the next speaker? Kimberly Guilfoyle, otherwise known as Gavin Newsom's ex-wife. Y'all remember that. Many Californian Democrats and even some of Newsom's friends still cannot understand why he ever married Guilfoyle, who went on to have an open casket MAGA makeover and was engaged for a time to Donald Trump Jr. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this little metrosexual picture of Gavin Newsom. He looks so tiny, but he's like 6'3". He's so tiny, but so metro. All of this brings to the defining question: who is Gavin Newsom really, underneath the charm and the smarm? He's a little metrosexual boy, that's what it is. Author writes a memoir when there's something about themselves that they want people to understand. So what don't outsiders understand about you, Gavin? The memoir opens up with a question, Newsom tells me. The question is whether I've become a caricature of myself and contributed to it as it relates to the perception of privilege and wealth that has dodged me and at times infuriated, not just frustrated me. I run the caricature as I understand it past him. His father was a friend of the Gettys, one of San Francisco's wealthiest and most well-connected families. If y'all know the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, remember they were so extremely wealthy that when the fires were happening, the Getty had its own fire suppression system. They did not need firefighters' help. They were like, we have too much valuable artwork. We can take care of it ourselves. And Newsom started his first business with Getty money. Yeah, you got it, sums it up, he says. So how is it wrong? Well, you got to read the book, he deadpans. Newsom's version is that he grew up between two worlds. His parents divorced when he was still a young child. His late father, Bill, was close to the oil heirs, Gordon Getty and John Paul Getty Jr. So close, in fact, that Bill became an administrator of the Getty Family Trust and helped deliver the ransom for the kidnapped John Paul Getty III. Wow. With the Gettys, Gavin went on a safari and watched polar bears in Canada. But at home with his mother, Tessa, life was a Wonder Bread and mac and cheese. Interesting. At his high school in Marin County, north of San Francisco, Newsom was not a great student, but he was a talented first baseman. Oh, I'm sure he was a talented first baseman with that height. And he attributed his acceptance at Santa Clara University to the fact that he was left-handed and could throw a baseball a little bit. At times, an exaggerated version of his college record has spread given the incorrect impression that he played for Santa Clara and was drafted by the Texas Rangers. Weird. Playing baseball helped me build confidence, got me out of my shell, and so I have deep reverence. I value sports and athletics and also competition, Newsom tells me. One of his 2 podcasts, Politician, I don't know, is co-hosted by the former NFL star Marshawn Lynch, the legendary Beast Mode, and the sports agent Doug Hendrickson. I don't know any of these sports people. Yeah, first basemen, are usually very tall. I know because I'm short, and when I played softball, they never let me play first base. I'm 5'3", by the way. The show is raucous, fratty, and frequently profane. In one episode, Lynch told their guest Jimmy Kimmel that you gotta let your nuts hang. As Kimmel observed, this has to be one of the weirdest podcasts ever, right? Oh man. Newsom paused that podcast during the Palisade fires, but plans to revive it later this year. After college, a young Gavin and his childhood friend Billy Getty founded a wine store called Plump Jack, which has since grown into a restaurant and vineyard empire. I grew a business with a relatively modest investment from a few members of the Getty family, Newsom says now. There were 13 investors, he adds. I'm not naive as well. I don't run away from recognition of the advantages of privileges that I did enjoy. These connections have led to many Newsom's unflattering nicknames over the years, such as Prince Gavin. Everybody thinks of Gavin and a silver spoon, Nancy Pelosi told me, but that isn't right. The former House Speaker is a strong supporter of Newsom and recently helped him fundraise for Prop 50. There's even a President MAGA folk myth that she is his aunt. In fact, Newsom's aunt Barbara was once married to Pelosi's brother-in-law, Ron Pelosi, who has known Newsom since birth, added. He was a very hard worker in everything that he did, whether it is professionally, personally, and then civically. One source of lifelong struggle is his dyslexia. Hell yeah, dyslexia, people unite. He is an obsessive note-taker, a habit born out of the condition. He reads a book or a briefing agonizingly slow and then copies out the best points onto a notepad before transferring them to yellow index cards. Because of this, he prefers to rely on interrogating nearby people or memorizing information. In the late 2000s, his tendency led his staff to name him Rain Man. Oh man, they were making fun of him because he's dyslexic. If y'all want to look on screen, there's a picture of Gavin Newsom where he looks very much like Patrick Bateman. If you notice when he speaks, he's never reading from notes. Senator Alex Padilla of California, who ran Newsom's first campaign for lieutenant governor, told me. So in some ways, he overcompensates through preparation. Oh, it's him at his wine cellar. As a result, Newsom can rattle off talking points with disorienting velocity, which I challenged him on his record as California governor. He machine gunned me with a list of achievements. Okay, we're not going to read all those achievements. I checked these numbers afterward, and all some of them were claimed policy triumphs were either arguable or still pending. He has word perfect on the figures. No wonder he's desperate to appear on Joe Rogan's podcast, I thought. He would be beast mode Rogan with a swarm of facts. Newsom has always wanted to become president. In the late 90s, his Balboa Cafe in San Francisco's Cow Hollow neighborhood was a place where an old and new money mixed. Though barely out of his 20s, he already had his repertoire of politicians' gestures, placing his arms conspiracially on his listeners' shoulders, punching the air to make the point, the New York Times reported in 1998. His childhood friend, Lori Puccinelli Stern, once organized a charity auction at Planet Hollywood with future Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. They sold off a cigar smoking and chess session with the Terminator star and a date with Newsom. That's crazy. One of the most eligible bachelors in town. The winner of the latter prize were an older couple in real estate, which surprised the host. We were thinking maybe a young girl who had eyes for Gavin would want this, Puccinelli Stern told me. The couple said, "We want to have dinner with him and our children because we want them to get to know someone who we think is probably going to be the president of the United States someday." Stern said she wanted to talk to me because too many people saw Newsom as a cyborg politician when he was funny and loyal, the kind of guy who, if you're stuck in a Turkish prison, mistakenly he's your phone call. Another close friend, the event impersonator Stanley Gotti, remembers talking with Newsom in the 90s when Willie Brown had just appointed his friend to the San Francisco Parking Commission. Newsom stopped by Gatti's studio and saw him casting the I Ching, a traditional Chinese method of divination that uses coins or yarrow stalks. Newsom wanted to try it. The I Ching, he said, "If you're thinking about running for political public office, don't," Gatti told me. It said, "You are an artist and you are a creator and you should be doing something that uses that part." I know, I Ching does sound like a sir. In Gotti's telling, Newsom didn't demur. I can see so clearly right now him standing up there and he goes, "Okay, that's it. I guess I'm running for office." But Gotti didn't believe his friend. I asked Gatti if he would cast the I Ching again to predict his friend's future once more. "I need him to throw it," he said, mulling the idea. "If Newsom was willing," Gotti said, "we can do it over the phone." As I waited, he texted the governor. An answer pinged back in less than a minute. "Too risky." Dang. Family connections quickly propel him upward in local government. Bill Newsom once told San Francisco Weekly that a friend of his helped engineered his son's appointment to the city board of supervisors. Besides, oh man, I think we're gonna have to pause this. This is a lot of reading, and we're running out of time. We'll pick this up. We'll pick this up after. I'm sorry, everyone. I gotta go. Gotta run to a 1:00 appointment. So, everyone have a good rest of your day. I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll keep reading it tomorrow. Everyone, take care. We gotta end the stream. I'm sorry. Have a good night, everyone.